Hi, I am Dr. Allison Prewitt Kinkaid. I am a Director of Support with Impact Arkansas Fellowship through the University of Arkansas in Fayetteville. I am here with Miss Tara Gates. She is a graduate of Cohort 6 in 2022, and she is currently the principal at Hermitage Elementary and also has a current cohort 9 member, Miss Kirby Gibson, who is a teacher inside of her classroom. This presents a few unique things for us to talk about, and we were anxious to get to have a conversation with you today, Miss Gates. I'm thinking about our first question. We know that impact is so powerful and full of growth. How have you continued your growth since completing the program?
So I would say that my growth has not stopped with the end of that program. Impact did give me tools, taught me how to reflect and how to set goals that I still use daily. I've learned to slow down, to listen more intentionally, and create space for others to lead. That mindset continues to shape the way I approach challenges and opportunities inside my building.
Nice. Well, then, so can you tell me a little bit more about how impact shows up in your daily coaching and mentoring and leading of others?
Sure. Some of the habits I developed through Impact was using reflective questions. So when I'm coaching or I'm talking with others, I like to have them reflect also. So instead of giving a quick answer, I'll use those reflective questions in my conversations with the other teachers and my other staff members also. I also try to model vulnerability and continuous learning, which encourages others to grow right beside me, to walk with me and grow as we do things in our school. It, it's less about directing and more about empowering.
That's pretty profound. I think if someone asked me what's different about our program, those definitely would be a couple of things that I mentioned, the reflection and the slowing down. So I'm excited that you mentioned those. If you had to pick one, what do you think is the most lasting shift in your leadership practice because of impact?
Moving from, say, a manager to a developer. I'm helping develop other people. I'm giving them ways to work. They're reflecting on their aspects and creating their own ways through things. I used to focus on specific tasks and the outcome, but now it's more like let's think about the person, how to grow them, how to support them, how to build their confidence. Um, and it's also that's helped shape this culture in my building, letting them reflect on themselves and grow, and me just be there to support and help guide.
So different. It's so different when you allow others to reflect and be such a viable piece of planning their next steps and how they are going to get into their growth, where they want to go. It's so much easier for somebody to grow themselves than to be told how to grow for sure. So that's
Yeah.
exciting to hear that that's one of the things that really stood out to you. In thinking about when you found out that Kirby was going to be a fellow, so there's only a few unique positions in the state where we actually have a fellow with a principal, and you're the first one that we've talked to after you've had this situation going on for over a year now. So when you first found out about it, what did you think that might mean for your school, or what did you think it might mean for you?
When I first found out, I was excited. I did ask her if she would be interested to apply, because I knew she was going to bring those fresh ideas, the new energy, the just wanting to help build culture. So for our school, it meant an opportunity to grow our leadership capacity. That's within. So like we have more leaders within our own building. For me personally, it meant being able to walk alongside her. Um, and know that I'm helping her go through a journey that shaped me as to who I am right now.
Absolutely, absolutely. So thinking about during your experience and how you were coached, and now thinking about how that is shaping your support of Kirby. Tell me how that dynamic came about. I mean, did it, how did it shape how you coach her? I know y'all had the same coach, happened to be me.
And we did. We had the same coach. So having been coached myself, I understand how powerful that process is. There were times that I struggled being coached because I wanted things a certain way, and we had to be, I had to reflect and I had to build on that. So it taught me the importance of trust and giving her space for her honest reflection, not just giving her the answers or guiding her in a certain way. That perspective helped me to be more intentional in the way that I encourage Kirby. Um, I don't have to fix it for her. I just need to support her and challenge her to think through what's going on.
I can't tell you how many times I've heard somebody say, um, be prepared because Allison's not going to give you the answer. She's just going to ask you another question. So
That
don't
is
get upset
true.
when you just get all these questions coming at you. So I think that's pretty powerful that I'm not here to solve your problems. I don't know the answers. But
Right.
I do know that you have that power, but just to ask the questions to get you to reflect. That's so exciting that you're bringing that through to Kirby. What have you noticed about Kirby's growth since she's been in the fellowship? And has that already had an impact on your school community?
Confidence. I would say there's more confidence, clarity. She is growing as a leader tremendously. She takes initiative. She actually took on the initiative of a culture team this year. She asked me, could we incorporate a culture team just to help keep the culture that we've built? She facilitates discussions with new levels of skill. She has better, like she can explain herself better. She's become a thought partner for others. She's mentoring some others, some new staff that I have. And the growth has rippled through the school. Teachers feel more supported, and we're seeing stronger collaborations.
Excellent. Um, and that's exciting because that's what we at Impact want. We want the ripple effect. We want to impact not only our fellow, but them to continue to impact the adults in your building and improve student outcomes. So that's exciting to hear. I think you mentioned this early on about how Impact had helped you to walk alongside of Kirby. I think you've already mentioned that, but is there anything else you want to say about how your Impact journey influenced you, helped you, prepared you to walk alongside Kirby in your building?
I will say I constantly remind myself of what it was like to be in her shoes. I did go through the impact program. It is rigorous at times. It is a challenge. I remind myself of the excitement, but I also remind myself of the vulnerability where I had to take into what I did and I have to express what I did and reflect on what I did. So I'm very open about my journey. I share different parts. I share grades. One of the main ones was that first paper grade. I'm open about it. So she knows that my growth is ongoing even after the program. So she's going to continue to grow even when she graduates. So I want to walk with her. I don't want to be ahead of her. And I want to create the space for her to lead.
Absolutely. And she has mentioned the opportunities that you have given her to take on roles and responsibilities with other adults, which is paramount for her growth through the program to have that ability to influence other adults outside of her classroom. That's definitely something that is so beneficial. So we're taking a classroom leader and working into more formal leadership roles to have that impact on other adults. So I think that you have been exceptional for Kirby, and I can see your influence on Kirby, and I can see all three of us have actually some similar personalities, and it's been fun to watch the dynamic between all three of us. Kind of shifting, thinking about just talking about another principal, someone else. What would you tell someone else, or how might you encourage them if they had a chance to recommend someone and or hire someone or have a fellow in their building? What would you say to a principal looking into that?
The first thing will be don't hesitate. Do it. They're going to bring a mindset of growth and collaboration that's going to lift up their entire school. Supporting them is not extra work. It's an investment that's going to pay back in the leadership capacity and the culture of the building.
Absolutely. So what beneficial opportunities do you see or how it's multiplied by having a graduate in a building leading and then a fellow in there at the same time in the same system?
So when there's multiple people in the system, that are sharing that same language and that same approach of reflection and growing and having that mindset of changing and working where people are, it creates alignment plus a momentum.
Mm.
It's no longer just one person leading differently, it becomes a part of the building. So that collective impact is what changes specific schools and eventually the districts.
Absolutely. I do think that it's kind of like we're together, then you
Yeah,
just get more applied force and definitely creates a shift. And I think it is so exciting. And I am so excited that we have been in Hermitage Elementary with you. And we have another graduate in Hermitage School. So this is a place where we actually have three graduates, though she's in the high school, Miss Kayla Thornton. So those are exciting times for us in Hermitage.
right.
I want to swap to you've been through the program. You've mentioned that it's very rigorous and that it's maybe even a little daunting at first before you get the growth, before you go to the
Right.
next level with some of the academics and the coaching. Sometimes it feels very different. It's a little difficult to get adjusted to and make the best out of it. But what encouragement would you give an educator who is hesitant about applying for impact?
I would tell them that impact is a gift to themselves and to their students. It's not about being ready for leadership, it's about being willing to grow within yourself. If you're open to learning and stretching yourself, impact will meet you where you are, but they're going to take you further than you've ever imagined.
Thank you. I agree with that. I I think that one of the great things that we do is find where you are and wrap you with support in every step of the way to get you to the next step. We will not let you be left behind or discouraged. It's rigorous, but you have the support to get through it. And we have the system set up with mentors like you and
Right.
ambassadors and other cohort members. So we have a 197 6 strong professional learning network at this point to wrap around that support. I'm so excited about that. So thank you again for taking this time to meet with me. And I really look forward to looking at data down the road to look at the impact that your school is experiencing and the student growth that you might be experiencing from having two impact graduates inside your building as soon as Kirby graduates in December. Thank you so much
Awesome.
for your time.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.